In 6 years, I went from being broke and financially illiterate to being in the top 1% of my age group, worth over $800,000 at the age of 24. I didn't build my wealth getting lucky on the right stock or maybe a crypto coin. I got here because I kept trying until something worked. I tried e-commerce, dropshipping, day trading. I had joined an ad agency at one point. I tried it all. But if I was starting over again and I had to wipe the slate clean for 2026, here are the 6 things that I would do to personally build my wealth again. This is not some guru that's going to tell you to do something and then try to sell you a course on it. This is just what personally I would do based on everything I've learned and know today. Let's get into it. But before we get into the list, I just want to make something clear. There's always going to be that next big thing, that next gold rush. There's always something. In 2016, there was dropshipping. Then in 2020 is becoming a TikToker. There's literally always something new that you can do to get rich. These wealth creation opportunities come all the time, but the thing is that opportunity window closes really fast. So just take this list with a grain of salt. This is just what I personally see as a great opportunity right now, especially with everything that's happening in the world at February 2026. And this is through my lens and my perspective on, reality in the world. You may see something differently. You may be better at something else than I am. Your job is just to figure out where you fit. And I'm gonna be real with you for a second. Nothing here is gonna be easy. Not some, passive side hustle where you make $100, $200 a month. That's not what I'm making a video for. This is for people who want to actually change their life. Escape the 9 to 5, own something, build their own business. Maybe you just felt that you were meant for something more. And so if you're going to watch the end of the video, just know you're gonna have to be willing to grind. This is not for the weak. All right, the 2 biggest wealth creation opportunities that I see right now in February 2026 is either in content creation or in AI. Now I understand that these are very broad, but just think of those 2 as umbrella terms. Under AI, under content creation, you can do so many different things. You can even overlap them. So we're gonna go over a few things that I would do, knowing that these are the 2 biggest opportunities right now. Number 1, I would start making AI content channels. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of them on your For You page before. You probably came across a lot of these AI channels before. Wall Street Kitty, Monkey Finance. I even follow a Pokemon one that goes through the history of each Pokemon and also a few history ones that talk about, like the Roman Empire. And honestly, what most of these people are doing is relatively simple. They'll find a pre-existing short form video that actual person made, transcribe it, load it to ChatGPT or maybe Claude, change the script a bit, maybe say, make it into a monkey format. And then they'll send that script to an editor that costs maybe $5 an hour on Upwork and then mass produce them. Once you kind of do once, you have all the prompts, you have all the SOPs and the sequences, it's relatively simple and low labor. And it just goes to show that there's a lot of different directions that you can take on this. You can make, a history channel, maybe a science channel, a finance channel, anything that's educational. You can make an AI avatar or you can make your own AI kind of animated show, all based off of already created and existing content out there. And honestly, right now is probably the best time to do this because it's still so novel. Not a lot of people know when it's an AI or not. So doing it right now is probably the best time because just think about it in a year when everybody's doing it and it just gets easier to tell. It's just going to feel oversaturated and kind of annoying. Frankly, I'm already annoyed with all these AI channels. But speaking of AI content channels, you can do AI TikTok shop. Now, I kind of mentioned it earlier where people are making hyper realistic AI channels of themselves. A lot of people are doing that and using it to drive traffic to TikTok shop affiliates. So they'll maybe make a video of this hyper realistic woman kind of doing the same thing, like putting up her hair and just talking about different TikTok shop affiliate product. It's kind of genius because you can mass produce these, hundreds of videos a day and you can make multiple channels with different types of avatar. And the thing with TikTok, it doesn't really matter how many times you post because it's an interest algorithm. So it'll just get shown to whoever. And it's really just a volume game. So some might flop, but some might hit millions. And when that video goes viral, you will make, thousands of dollars. And number 3, this kind of have to do with AI and it's consumer apps. Now, everybody can create a high class premium quality app straight from their phone or their laptop through vibe coding. And if you don't know what vibe coding is, basically it's just using some sort of AI software like Claude, Lovable or something like that, and then just typing what you want. Or for example, I'm on my Claude right now. Hopefully I'm gonna blur out all of my different chats, but I just wanna show you an example. Now, this obviously isn't gonna be like a crazy good app. You need to actually spend more time. It's not that easy, but you can use Claude to kind of get a MVP or a minimal viable product. And let's just work on, can you create a budgeting app that looks like Mint Mobile? Okay, so pretty much any app that you can think about, anything doesn't have to be budgeting, it could be literally anything that you want, is at the tip of your fingers. All you have to do is just ask AI to do it and it'll do a pretty good job. Now, let's just see what it does and kind of how it has. And while we wait for the AI to actually create the app, I want to talk to you about some apps that have already been successful and have been making hundreds, if not millions of dollars a month. One of the best case studies that a lot of people are doing and kind of basing off their app after is Cal AI. And I think the founder's app was like, I think 17 years old, and he vibe coded the entire thing. Basically, the gap that he found out was that typing in all of your macros and trying to track it like that is a little tedious. So what he did was he used AI. Now you can snap a picture and it kind of uses AI to track all their macros for you. Now that's pretty cool. Now there's tons of different examples. I mean, I personally know a couple people who vibe coded apps that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now that being said, it's not easy. The barrier of entry is just lower now because of AI. All right, now let's look at what we just built with Claude. As you see here, we have overview, transactions, budgets. See, it's like it's not bad, right? So if we want more things, we can just be like, can you add into widgets where we can add a transaction to log manually, right? So like we could really play around with it. And if you really want, you could publish this and make it into a website and have it, available for the public right then and there. Usually before, you would have to pay, I don't know, thousands of dollars for some software developer to do everything manually. Now you can just vibe code it. Or you see this just from this one sentence, we added this to the app. Obviously it's not perfect. It would definitely need some design work, but it's that easy to kind of create anything that you want. Now, there are a few sides to this. While yes, it's easier than ever to build an app these days and get it out to customers, it obviously still comes with some downsides and hardships. Roy Lee, one of the founders of one of the most infamous startups of all time, Kaluli, said that last quarter, 25,000 apps were shipped, but only 700 made $100. Now, there are two ways you can think about this. One, it's insanely hard, which of course it still is. You still need a good product, but also you need the marketing and distribution. Or you can read it as the competition is extremely incompetent. The truth is that it's kind of both. A lot of people are just creating garbage and they don't really have a plan, and they just think that they can spend, a whole year creating the best app, but then they don't really have any plan for the marketing and distribution. Or they have only the marketing and distribution. Then maybe they partner up with an influencer, but their app is complete dog water. So then it fails, right? You kind of need both. And now that I'm thinking about it, this can actually tie back to the AI channels that we were just talking about. You can build an app, create an AI content channel, funnel traffic into that app by making AI content. So once you have a winning formula, just mass distribute that and create other new AI channels. And now you have a whole AI army just leading all this traffic into your app. Or if you don't want to do the marketing and you just want to worry about, the coding, you could always partner with a creator who already has an audience. Now, I know a lot of people who are doing this. A lot of my creator friends met developers to create an app, and now they're making, hundreds of thousands of dollars from a consumer app. And so if you're a crack developer and you love making consumer apps and you need a missing piece, you need the marketing distribution, hit me up. I may be interested. We can build something. Now, the next one isn't technically new, but it's still the biggest and best opportunity that a lot of young people in their 20s specifically can do to change their entire life trajectory. And it's been working for years. I mean, it changed my life. And it's to start a personal brand. And honestly, if you just take one thing from this entire video, it's this. A personal brand is still and will always be one of the best things that you can do when starting from zero. Nowadays, everybody and their mom wants to be a content creator. Literally everyone's trying to post. Now, that doesn't mean that it's extremely hard and that's impossible. In fact, I think a lot of people can't do it. And that's because the influencer era, or the era of the celebrities, is dead. Nobody really follows people anymore for their elevated lifestyles and glamour. That era is dead. People follow real people now. Regular people in their kitchen, in their mess, filming on their iPhone, maybe doing like a get ready with me. Just normal human beings being human. And now that I'm thinking about it, that's kind of what I did when I first started posting. I didn't really have, any high production. I was using my iPhone 7 and just posting from my bedroom. No fancy camera, no plan. The only thing that I was doing that I don't think a lot of people are willing to do is post 2 to 3 times a day. Now, that's a little extreme. Of course, I was in COVID, so I had a lot of time on my hands. But if you're not willing to post, once a day, then honestly, then you're probably just not going to make it. And the reason why I'm so passionate about starting your own personal brand is because once you have that audience, once you have that distribution, you can do anything you want. If you have the marketing and the distribution, then you could direct that traffic, direct your customers to anything that you want. But devoid of that, there are actually 3 main ways that most content creators make money, and it's through brand deals, affiliates, and ad revenue. But what I really want you to take away from this is that it doesn't matter if you want to start a business or start anything, you need distribution and marketing. So either way, you're gonna have to be posting on social media. You might as well start now and build your own personal brand so if and when you want to start something, you have all the skills, ability, and experience to do so. Now, if you're someone who doesn't want to be on camera yet, there's actually a lot of platforms where you can still create content that is more writing centric, like Twitter, Threads, but also one of the most underrated platform is LinkedIn. And the best part is with LinkedIn, all of the decision makers are on LinkedIn. And so if you want to, if you're just good at writing, you can create a whole content business just through LinkedIn. And the next one is off camera, is also kind of a writing centric model, and it's creating a newsletter or a Substack account. Now, I know this one sounds niche, but hear me out. I know this sounds kind of weird because you just talked and hyped about, social media, posting on short form, long form content, and AI. And the main platform that I do want to shout out is Substack. I love Substack. It's kind of a platform where people are able to post their newsletter, but also just essays on life. And it's kind of like any other social media platform where you can build like a following. You can direct that traffic somewhere else, but you can also sell subscriptions in the platform. So a lot of people will maybe have like a $5, maybe $17 subscription. And here's why writing is so powerful. If you could get someone to read, 1,000-word essay from you every single week, that person is as loyal as they can get. Almost as loyal as someone who watches a 2-hour podcast and hearing you yap in your ear for that long. They're reading every single word, and that's trust. And this isn't just a theory. There are people who are making real businesses off of just writing alone. For example, Sahil Bloom, the author of 5 Types of Wealth. He has this article, I think it's called The Curiosity Chronicle, and I've read some of it, and it's wonderful. And he just launched a new lifestyle brand, and he started this all from just writing articles online. Same with Justin Welch. He makes multiple millions a year. And first he started writing on LinkedIn posts, Twitter posts, but now he's big on newsletters. 100% writing, which is crazy. Now there's something that I want you to pay attention with everything that I've mentioned so far. All of these have transferable skills. Everything you learn by doing AI content, building apps, growing a brand, writing, you can transfer it to something completely different later on. Writing especially, it makes you better at selling, better at marketing, better at copywriting, better at thinking, and just compounds way more than you really think. And yeah, of course, you can use AI for everything. You can use it to write, but I wouldn't really recommend it. AI is good, but it's not that good. Honestly, if I see an M dash or kind of like a comma or a question randomly, like in this, I know it's ChatGPT really easily. Now, the next one still has to do with content creation, but you're kind of on the corporate B2B side. And it has to do with user-generated content. Now, UGC, user-generated content, for example, is just creating videos for brands for them to post internally or to run ads through. And usually it's just a flat fee or per performance. I know a lot of startup companies who have like hundreds of UGC creators working under them, and they pay maybe like $10 per 100,000 views. The real opportunity is creating those UGC farms. It's in marketing. So I know a lot of people who came straight out of college or even dropped out of college to create these UGC farms for these big startup brands. It's kind of have to do with growth marketing, but basically what their responsibility is to create a UGC farm where they have a network of hundreds of UGC creators simultaneously every single day, multiple times a day, creating videos that have, their product in them. Now, there's a lot of examples of this happening. Polymarket. I literally met the guy in Cancun. He's like a 20-year-old who dropped out of college and now is working at Polymarket, creating a UGC farm. And again, I don't want to pocket watch, but you can kind of infer how much they're valuing this because it's not an easy skill to learn or to do. And you can even use Cooley, for example. I mean, their whole thesis on their startup and their rise to success is through content. They created a UGC farm. They started making viral content, but they were like the first ones to do it, to create these UGC farms to have all of these random hundreds of videos going out on your For You page talking about maybe there's a regular topic, but suddenly it's a bam, Cooley in your face. It's really good. And so now that we talked about things that I would do, I want to quickly talk about things that I absolutely would not do in this day and age. And number one, wholesale real estate. I would never do that. I actually did that when I was first starting, and it's just a lot more labor intensive. And I think there's just a lot more better things that you can do with your time, such as, creating content. Number two, drop shipping. I just don't think this model is good anymore. Nobody's really falling for those Facebook ads and cheap Chinese products. Like, nobody's really gonna buy that. And I don't think that's really worth their time. And so I just wouldn't really do it long term. Number three, any brick and mortar physical business, especially like restaurants, I would never do that. Just the overhead is crazy. In an age of infinite leverage and permissionless code, you can do anything you want. So I don't really understand why anybody would really dream or want to do a brick and mortar business where the overhead is like thousands of dollars and you have to pay property taxes, you have to hire employees and all that, where you can just set up Claudebot or some sort of AI to do everything for you. The future's in the internet. And number four, OnlyFans. I would not do that. Or maybe I can't do that. Can I? All right, number five, building a brand around betting or casinos. Now, I know a lot of people are actually making a lot of money from it. A lot of streamers, think Drake, think Aiden Ross, and they're actually making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month just promoting these casino companies, these prediction markets like Polymarket. But just me personally, I would never do that. I've had to actually turn down a lot of these sports betting companies, specifically, Prize Picks. I think I can say that, but they have a lot of money as well. And I just don't fundamentally believe that sports betting, prediction markets, all of these gambling thing is good. And so I would never push that onto my followers. I would never push that onto you. And so I wouldn't do that. And so pretty much I would not do anything that requires heavy physical labor or a big overhead or anything where my physical presence is kind of required to generate income. Everything that I'd really focus is digital, easily scalable, and a low cost to start. And honestly, guys, when I first started my entrepreneur wealth journey in 2020, I tried literally everything: e-commerce, dropshipping, day trading, content creation. I failed at most of it. And it took me doing every single thing to figure out that content creation was my thing and that was the thing that I was good at. You're most likely, just like me, are gonna fail once, twice, 3 times before you actually hit something that you actually like and are good at. The first thing you try is definitely not gonna be a home run. And there's this quote that I really like, and it's: your obsession with hitting home runs is stopping you from ever stepping up to bats. Stop waiting for the perfect play, just get in the game and try new things. Now, if you want to learn more about my business, how I make money, and my different streams of income, I break down everything in this video right here, step by step. So if you're interested, please go take a look. If you want more weekly wealth tips delivered straight into your inbox, no spam, I have a free newsletter called New Money that talks about all of this: personal finance, business, AI, anything that has to do with building your wealth. It's free. I'll leave it down below in the description. And if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. And of course, till next time.